Well, homeschooling is exploding across Metro Detroit. In fact, 1.7 million American students are now taught at home.
And there's so many new options now with online learning. Our Karen Drew takes a look at this growing trend and finds out why local parents are making this important switch for their children.
Okay, you might be like me and think you know about homeschooling. Perhaps you knew a child in your neighborhood who was homeschooled and you thought they were a little awkward. Or perhaps you always wondered, how could these kids be socialized if they're schooled at home? Well, wait, before you make any judgments, you need to see how homeschooling has changed.
These are just review words, okay?
Megan Preston never ever thought she would be homeschooling her children. But after 1 year of public school kindergarten for 5-year-old Hannah, the Troy mother had a few concerns.
Good one.
She wanted a more Christian education but couldn't afford private schools and thought there had to be a better way to educate her child that didn't leave her so tired all the time.
It was just a long day, switching to full-day kindergarten. When she came home from school, she was crashed out on the couch.
So the 34-year-old mother decided to try homeschooling.
It can seem intimidating, but it's also kind of a natural thing because they're already looking to us to teach them how to do the next, skill set.
Megan bought a curriculum she liked.
It comes with a teacher's guide. All the curriculum is planned out. It tells me what to do on Monday, what to do on Tuesday, what to do on Wednesday. It's spelled out.
She not only started homeschooling Hannah,
good job, Rachel,
but her preschooler Rachel, and even her toddler Josh joins in at times. Megan says she likes the flexibility of homeschooling. Hannah doesn't only take her classes at her dining room table. She's like many homeschoolers in the area who come here.
Okay guys, we're going to take a look at your sal projects now.
This is a Homeschool Connection campus. It looks like a school, but it's different.
It started with just a few kids and a few teachers on 1 day a week, and now we've got 5 campuses. We've got about 500 students.
That's Tarla Gernert. She created Homeschool Connections 13 years ago when she started homeschooling her children.
I wanted my kids to take biology, but I wanted it to be a really rich experience, but I didn't want to deal with the mess myself, and I just didn't know enough myself. So several of us got together and started looking for teachers, and we found a microbiologist that took his lunch break every other week to come teach our kids biology.
And this is what it has evolved into.
They come together 1 day a week, pick out whatever class they want or need.
Classes range from gym to science to art and more.
It's fun to learn together. So what we did is we find teachers who are passionate about what they know to teach our kids.
If you want your child to be advanced in life, you have to put them in different advanced situations.
Ptolemy Pruden uses the program for all 5 of his homeschool children.
The glass pan is the cell wall.
I want to make sure that my child is set on the right trajectory. They know everything that's going on out there. I'm not trying to put them in a bubble.
Pruden says the Homeschool Connections gives his kids not only classes he and his wife may not feel knowledgeable teaching, but also gives his child the socialization of a school classroom. 34-year-old dentist Rebecca Him was a homeschooler.
There are those myths out there, or those perceptions out there that homeschoolers are weird or different.
Now she runs a dental office in Livonia and credits her success to homeschooling.
I think homeschooling really gives you a great opportunity to learn at a pace that may be accelerated or maybe a little bit more focused on what your desires are or what your interests are.
26-year-old Halston Herrera was also homeschooled.
A lot of my homeschooling friends are doctors. They work for the government. A lot are in the military.
She is now a senior online editor at Click On Detroit. She says too many misunderstand homeschoolers.
Well, homeschooling certainly teaches you to be independent and a go-getter.
Start at the polka dot.
That's exactly what Megan Preston is hoping for her 3 kids. Independent thinkers, curious to learn. And if the trend continues, more families like the Prestons will be giving homeschooling a try as well. The parents I spoke to who homeschooled say you really need to consider the fact that this can cause a lot of stress for the moms. They have a lot on their plate. They have to teach their kids and then also run the house, clean, do the laundry, grocery shop. Also another thing to consider, the financial aspect. Typically one person has to stay home, so that also affects the family's budget. Karen Drew, Local 4 News.
Joining us live in the studio today is Tarla Gernert from Homeschool Connections, which is, I think it's such an interesting alternative to get that specialized learning into the classroom.
Yes.
But I think everybody wants to know, there are so many things that come with conventional schooling, the prom, graduation, all those great memory makers.
Yes.
How do you supplement, and team sports, how do you supplement those?
We have all of those. There's nothing that you get in public school that you can't get at homeschool. We have dancing on the river, a riverboat prom, in the springtime. We have sports teams that the kids play.
Because you're networking and you bring the kids together.
Right. If there's something we want to do.
Team sports?
Team sports. We have basketball teams that do national championships, and then they go to Oklahoma City, and all the homeschool teams from around the country come, and the people who come to recruit them from the colleges come and see those games. So all over the place. You
mentioned colleges. How do colleges, especially when it comes to awarding scholarships, how do they relate and how do they embrace homeschooling? Or are you at a disadvantage because you are differently accredited?
Well, nowadays it's become a really positive. People get into colleges very easily. They know that people who have been homeschooled are interested in learning, and they have maybe taken a different path.
Well, they certainly know that the parents are heavily involved.
Right. But typically kids, usually a homeschool kid in 11th and 12th grade will start taking classes at a community college, so they've already got college experience. Sometimes they've started their own business. Sometimes they've studied things that are very unique. They usually still take the ACT or SAT, so that kind of validates their test scores and their learning. So the colleges find homeschool students very curious and independent and self-learners.
There are other ways that they can do analysis on them that fills in the gaps. All right. Tarla, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Interesting.